On TV, they became the biggest family ever. But now, in 2025, the Busbys are in a mess that no one saw coming. Adam and Danielle are OutDaughtered stars who have 6 daughters. When they're not with their girls, the sparkles fade. People are talking about being tired, having unexpected health scares, marital problems, and online debates. The Busbys' 2025 report is much more exciting than any episode, with big moments and trouble behind the scenes. What's really going on with the family we thought we knew? Adam Busby. In the year 2025, Adam Busby is still the steady rock in the Busby family, whose lives are always changing. Adam has been the father of America's favorite quintuplets and their older sister Blayke for almost 10 years. For that time, he has had to deal with the controlled chaos of a home that is full of energy, feeling, and constant activity. But things have changed for the Busby kids and for Adam and Danielle as parents and partners this year. Adam has been honest about how much his life has changed since the girls became teenagers. The days of diapers, baby cups, and making meals in groups of different colors are over. The 5 kids, Ava, Olivia, Hazel, Riley, and Parker, are now full-fledged preteens, deeply involved in school, sports, and growing as people. Blayke is their middle daughter and a senior in high school. She is a big sister and a teenager at the same time. Now the organizational needs are different, but they are still very strong. Adam has become a father with kindness, humor, and a sharp sense of what's important. He has had to drive his kids to soccer practice and dance recitals, deal with homework and hormonal mood swings, and keep things in perspective. He sees his job as a steadying force in a home that is always changing more than ever. Adam said in a recent interview that it's no longer about running the mess. As they change, you need to be able to adapt to them and know when to step in and when to let them be. Being flexible is even more important for the Busbys now that they are leaving their dream home in League City, Texas, for another big change in their lives. After many happy years in the house they thought would be their forever home, Adam and Danielle have chosen to sell it. The choice wasn't made quickly or dramatically. It came about after they talked for a long time about how their values were changing. Now that the girls are older, the couple's businesses are going in new ways. The house they used to love doesn't work for the way their lives have changed. Adam said that the move was not the end, but the beginning. He said that house helped us through one of the wildest and most beautiful times in our lives. But now we're moving on to a new part. Things we need have changed. So have our dreams. A lot of this change is happening in the background, out of sight. The Busbys still have a lot of fans and are very active on social media, but they're not making movies full-time anymore, so they can focus on their real life and to be with their girls during these important years of growth. Adam has become a strong backer of Danielle's newest project, a podcast called More Than Reality from the Background. Together, they co-host weekly shows that show what it's really like to raise a big family, run a business, and keep the marriage going through all of life's ups and downs. The podcast isn't written or edited for drama like their reality TV show. It is real, raw, and often shockingly open. People have liked their honest talks, especially the ones that get deep into the mental and emotional toll of parenting. People have said nice things about Adam for not being like other reality TV dads. He doesn't shy away from talking about the tougher parts of being a dad, like how useless he feels when one of the girls is having a hard time. That comes from having to provide and protect others while also being emotionally present. Adam said in a recent podcast show, "I'm not perfect. I lose my temper and question myself from time to time. At the end of the day, all I want my girls to know is that I'm here for them, no matter what." One of the most praised things about Adam and Danielle's public life is still their relationship. They treat their marriage as a team, even as their jobs change and their responsibilities grow. Danielle runs most of the family's businesses, like Grayson B. Boutique. Adam, on the other hand, is more involved with parenting, home decor, and now blogging. They're showing that marriage and parenting today aren't about setting fixed roles. They're about growing together. As the year 2025 goes on, Adam Busby stays in the background of a home that is anything but quiet. He doesn't want to be the center of attention. Instead, he wants to be present, flexible, and helpful. Adam always shows up, whether it's to help Blayke with a science project, coach Riley at a soccer game, fix Hazel's glasses, or just sit next to Danielle with a microphone in between them. That may be the most interesting thing about him. Adam Busby's constancy isn't about staying the same in a world where goals shift, kids get bigger, and TV fame fades. It's about being ready for change every day. Danielle Busby. Danielle Busby is more than just a mom of 6 and a used-to-be reality TV star. She is a woman who is going through a big change. She's been the center of attention in the Busby family for a long time, but this year she's finally turning inward and letting herself grow beyond the roles she's played for so long as a mother, wife, business owner, and public figure. People may still know Danielle from OutDaughtered, but she is currently working hard to rediscover who she is outside of cameras, chaos, and carefully chosen Instagram squares. It was one of the happiest times of the past few months when the Quintuplets turned 10 years old in April. Danielle celebrated this important event with her usual imagination and attention to detail. The girls, Ava, Olivia, Hazel, Riley, and Parker, started their day with a fun breakfast, decorations with donuts, and matching clothes. This made their morning a celebration of being sisters and being yourself. It wasn't just cute pictures or routines for Danielle when she planned. It was a way to celebrate 10 years of growth, miracles, and survival. Really, not many moms can say they raised 5 babies early at the same time while running a public business and a home. However, Danielle has been choosing to share more and more of her more difficult feelings, which are hidden behind the happy birthday banners and themed decorations. In the past year, she's talked about very private things, like how her relationship with her mother is getting worse. Even though Danielle wouldn't say more, she did say that she and her mom haven't talked to each other in a few years, which wasn't an easy choice. A lot of her recent personal growth has been shaped by the emotional weight of that breakup, especially now that she has her own girls. This was something she talked about on a recent episode of her podcast. It wasn't easy, but I had to keep the peace. When things that don't get fixed drain you all the time, you can't give your kids your all. Danielle's dedication to mental health and setting limits has also affected how she raises her children. When it comes to her girls, she's become more intentional, present, and open with them, especially as they start to face problems that are bigger than scraped knees and playground fights. Parker has had ongoing problems with nervousness along the way, which Danielle has talked about in an open and caring way. She said, "I used to think I had to fix everything right away. But now I know that sometimes the most important thing I can do is just show up, be there, and listen." These secrets aren't just whispered or shared only with close friends. Danielle plays them every week on the show More Than Reality, which she runs with her husband Adam. This isn't a highlight reel. It's a real, honest conversation about children, marriage, being a woman, and self-worth. The show talks about a lot of different things, from the girls' changing personalities to the quiet weight of mental exhaustion. Each episode takes away another layer of Danielle's armor-like public image. In early 2025, there was one of the more emotional events. When Danielle and Adam talked about their choice to sell the family home they loved in League City. The house, which was their safe place and a sign of hope when they were raising quintuplets, is now too big for their needs. Even though Danielle had to make a realistic choice, she also had to make an emotional one. She said, "That house was the site of so many firsts." Her voice caught. First steps, first birthdays, and even some of our toughest fights. Giving up on it felt like ending a story I wasn't sure I was ready to leave. That wasn't the only time this year she had to say goodbye. Danielle Hardy had to make the hard choice to close Grace & B Boutique after years of giving it her all. It began as a hobby project named after her children and has since grown into a successful online brand. But it was no longer possible to handle inventory, fulfillment, and artistic direction while also raising 6 kids. The choice, while important, left something blank. She said it straight out. I had to choose between being stretched thin or being fully present. I picked my family. I picked my health. It took some time to get that clear. It's the result of treatment, setting limits, and a new decision not to let how much she can handle define who she is. Danielle is now a vocal supporter of mental health, especially moms who feel like they have to be everything for everyone all the time. Blayke, Louise, Danielle Busby, who is 14, handles the unique challenges of being a teenager and the oldest child in a famous family with grace. Because she is the only older sister to 5 younger sisters who were all born on the same day, Blayke's youth has always been a mix of normal and unusual events. In 2025, she is hitting new personal milestones while still being the stable, emotional anchor in the crazy world of quintuplets. As a student in high school, Blayke is getting used to the fast-paced life of being a teen. Helping take care of her younger sisters used to be her daily routine. But now school dances, honors classes, extracurricular activities, and hanging out with friends on the weekends are taking over. Danielle and Adam Blayke say that their daughter has grown into a strong, independent, and thoughtful young lady. She does a lot of things at school, like choir, student council, and volleyball. It's clear that she's starting to find her own personality outside of the Busby family. Blayke's new stage of life has also changed the family's filming plan in a big way. In a recent interview, Danielle said that it's getting harder and harder to schedule scenes around Blayke's busy schedule. The days when movies could be made in between coloring books and naps are over. These days, the family has to be more careful about what and when they share with the public because of due dates for chores, events after school, and the unpredictable moods of teenagers. Even though Blayke is slowly making her own place, she will always be a kind and steady presence in the Busby home. Not only is she the oldest, but she's also a friend, a role model, and sometimes a judge. Blayke always takes care of her sisters with a maturity that belies her years, whether it's helping Parker deal with an anxiety attack or braiding Hazel's hair before a family trip. Danielle said on a recent episode of their show, More Than Reality, that Blayke has a quiet strength about her. She doesn't need to be the center of attention. It's easy to follow her because she has a kind heart and a great sense of fun. She's also finding a new way to speak through the show. Even though Blayke is still a teenager, she has been appearing more and more in scenes where Danielle thinks about how she raised her first child and the 5 children. These segments give a new point of view, and listeners have been very positive about Blayke's thoughtful thoughts and calm demeanor. Danielle talks about what she calls age gap parenting in a very moving show. Taking care of 5 younger kids who are just turning 10 and raising 1 child who is starting high school while also handling her own needs. Blayke was honest. She talked about how she feels stuck between 2 worlds sometimes. She said, "Sometimes I feel more like a helper than a sister." There are times, though, like when we're all laughing at breakfast or dancing in the kitchen, when I'm just thankful that so many people love me. Danielle agreed that this relationship has its problems and pointed out how easy it is to lean on Blayke for help when life gets too much. There were a lot of parents in the room who had similar feelings about the talk. Danielle promised to do more to protect Blayke's freedom to just be a teenager. Blayke has changed over time, even when things are quiet. She is creating her own style and expressing herself through writing in a diary and digital art. She is also thinking about creating a social media account about books, fashion, and her role as a teen big sister. She is staying pretty quiet for now, which is something her parents fully support. But it feels more and more like Blayke is starting to write her own story that is separate from OutDaughtered. At home, her sisters still love and look up to her. When Ava and Olivia try out new hairstyles, they ask her opinion first. Hazel clings to her when it rains at night. Riley is a strong, independent woman, but she still softens when Blayke tells her how great she is. Parker, who is the most sensitive of the five, often finds comfort in Blayke's calm energy when the world gets too big. It's looking like 2025 will be the year that Danielle Busby can focus on herself, her goals, her voice, and her place in the world. She may have spent a lot of her early childhood helping her parents deal with the emotional stress of a busy, famous home. Not just as the oldest daughter of a famous family, but also as a thoughtful, kind, and quietly strong young woman who grows into her own every day. Ava, Olivia, Hazel, Riley, and Parker are the 5-year-olds. The Busby Fives, Ava, Olivia, Hazel, Riley, and Parker, reached a big milestone in April 2025. They turned 10 years old. Their 10th birthday was both a happy party and a touching memory of how far they've come since they were babies in the NICU and were so weak. The girls wore similar black t-shirts with the sarcastic phrase, "Bruh, it's my birthday," on them to celebrate. The morning was also filled with custom donuts, sprinkles, and sibling laughs. It was the kind of thing that would look great on social media. Funny, well-planned, and touching. On the inside, though, it also meant that the family was going through a change. 10 years ago, Danielle and Adam Busby were thrown into a rush of early diapers, medical scares, and feedings in the middle of the night for 5 kids. In the present day, those little girls are fully grown preteens with their own thoughts, feelings, sports gear, and social plans. It's become harder to raise them as they've grown up physically, mentally, and socially. In the past year, things in the Busby home have gone from being just busy to almost impossible to handle. Now, the calendar is full of school activities, sports teams, extracurricular activities, and dance practices from morning until night. Each girl has found her own area, whether it's Hazel's love of art, Olivia's love of performing, or Riley's need to be competitive in sports. But being unique means that each girl has to find new ways to spend her time and energy. It was especially hard to film season 10 of OutDaughtered. The family had a lot of different responsibilities, so it was hard to plan production around the girls' schedules without getting in the way of their lives. I recently talked to Adam about how we never want shooting to get in the way of our kids just being kids. Now their lives, not the show, are the most important thing. The trip Parker took with his anxiety was a storyline that really touched people this season. Fans who have known her for a long time have seen her change from a shy, serious child to a thoughtful, sensitive girl. But Danielle and Adam have seen over the past year that Parker was having problems inside that weren't going away on their own. Other Quints often show how they feel through play or conversation, but Parker has always kept her fears inside, just below the surface. Early in 2025, Parker's family told the world that he had been diagnosed with anxiety. This was a vulnerable admission that hit home for many parents. Danielle and Adam didn't tell anyone this to get attention or pity. They did it to make talking about kids' mental health more common. Another family should know it's okay to say, "Hey, something is wrong and we need help." It was something Danielle said on their show, More Than Reality. The Busbys dealt with the problem in a whole-person way, based on faith, treatment, and consistency. Parker now sees a child specialist for therapy on a daily basis. This specialist helps her learn ways to calm down, deal with her fears, and boost her confidence. Adam and Danielle have made it a point to give Parker loving habits and quiet places to rest at home. As simple as daily statements before school, breathing exercises, or just more one-on-one time, they have made a big difference. On top of that, they've used their Christian faith to help them find their way. Adam said that Parker can't sleep some nights because her mind won't stop racing. We pray at that time, not to solve her problems, but to calm her and let her know she's not alone. In recent shows, this kind of faith-based, gentle parenting has been shown. The more private and quiet side of parenting is shown when Danielle sits next to Parker's bed, or when Adam grabs her to support her, to remember you that rules and rewards can't always solve problems. Some only need to be there. The other girls have reacted with a sweet kind of support for each other. Even though they don't fully understand Parker's worry, they know when to be there for her and when to hug or laugh with her. Danielle said it was amazing how easily they came together to help her. It's clear that they love her very much. Even though things are hard, the Busby home is still full of noise, laughter, and the uncertain magic of having 5 sisters. After 10 years. No longer are the Quints just a silly or miraculous story. They are unique kids who are finding their own identities, interests, and ways to live. And Parker's story shows us that growing up isn't always simple. There is strength in even the hardest times if you have the right kind of help, love, and hope. The show that changed things. Adam and Danielle Busby took a big step into the world of podcasting in 2024. After years of sharing their family's story on TV, they wanted to make their show more personal and less polished. It didn't take long for their show, More Than Reality, to become much more than just an extension of their brand. It became a way for them to be honest, open, and connect deeply with their viewers. The podcast is still going strong in 2025, and it's becoming a weekly staple for fans who want to hear real talks about marriage, parenting, faith, and mental health. What started as a simple way to show what Adam and Danielle do in their lives outside of OutDaughtered has grown into a meaningful project that lets them talk from the heart, sometimes in a raw or unedited way. It's not the point of More Than Reality to rehash stories or dramas just to get more views. The story is about what happens when the movie ends and real life starts. Recent shows in 2025 have shown how the Busby family is going through real and emotional changes. Why We're Selling the House is the name of a show that made a big impact when it came out in June 2025. It's honest about how Adam and Danielle felt about having to sell their longtime family home in League City, Texas, a place where their family's character was formed by memories, important events, and chaos. When Danielle talked about the first few years in that place, her voice cracked several times. When the Quints came home from the hospital, Blayke learned to ride her bike in the yard. There were also feedings late at night, holiday mornings, and dance parties in the kitchen. It wasn't just a house. She said that it was the setting for some of the holiest times in our lives. However, as the girls have grown up and their lives have become more complicated, the house has become less of a safe place and more of a problem to solve. Downsizing wasn't just about saving room, it was also about clearing their minds, making their surroundings simpler, and rearranging their priorities. Adam said, "We realized that holding on to a house out of sentiment was making us feel bad. God has been telling us to do something lighter and different." In the same show, they talked about their hard choice to close Grace and B, the shop Danielle built with love and devotion to honor her children. The store, which used to be a successful family business and artistic space, became a sign of Danielle's drive. She was also carrying stress and pressure with her. Danielle said that at first, letting go of it felt like a failure. It wasn't, though. "We gave up and chose to focus on what was most important: our kids, our marriage, and our health." The fact that they were ready to give up something they had once seen as a dream shows the podcast's main idea. Change leads to growth, and release leads to peace. Parker's anxiety, another strong episode, stands out in a quiet way. In it, the couple talks about how the recent illness of their daughter Parker has changed the way they think about parenting. It's not clinical or overly dramatic. The event is just real. Danielle tells people about the small signs they started to notice. Parker's lack of speech at social events, her desire to avoid loud places, and the way she stuck to habits and freaked out when plans changed. They thought it was because of their different personalities for a long time, but in the end, they saw that there was something more going on. Adam said, "I remember one night she just broke down before bed. She couldn't explain why. She only said that everything seemed too big. That was the moment when things changed. With help from professionals and prayer, the Busbys started to put together a support system that includes therapy, time to think about their faith, and gentle, structured habits. They talk about their emotional journey as well as practical tools that have helped them, like ways to calm down, how important it is to validate feelings, and how important it is for parents and kids to talk to each other openly. People have been deeply moved by how honest these talks are. Writing to thank the couple, parents of kids going through similar problems, many people still feel like they have to deal with these problems in quiet. Danielle has even gotten letters from moms who say, "I had no idea my kid might have anxiety until I heard you talk about Parker." Reality TV edits scenes to keep the show moving and add drama. But what you're saying is different. The show is slow on purpose and has a lot of subtleties. There's room to cry, to be quiet, to pray, or to laugh. The couple doesn't always know what to say. They sometimes just sit with the weight of what they're going through. That's what makes more than reality so strong. Maybe more than anything else. It shows what life is really like. What do you think about Adam, Danielle, and their kids? Please tell us what you think in the box below. We hope this video was helpful for you. If you like the show, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Glad you watched, and see you in the next film. Thank you.